Oh, we place a premium on that. I think it's so important that we ensure that, first of all, our coaches are trained and know what they're doing to make sure that we're doing the things that's right for our student athletes. And after that, we do some things to ensure that our parents are also informed. And from there, we try to make sure our student athletes are following the right guidelines that are provided by the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and just doing things that we would know that just are right for them as far as their health is concerned. Well, again, following the guidelines set down by the NFHS and the Alabama High School Athletic Association, ensuring that our coaches are certified CPR, that they understand everything that's going on as far as concussions are concerned, and the different heat prevention courses that we're required to take. Again, just making sure our coaches are on top of things as far as their education is concerned, and therefore they can in turn educate our student athletes. Yes, we have an emergency plan that was put together by our certified trainer that's provided to us through Rehab Associates. And our plan takes care of all of our sporting events. It transcends the entire program. So we have something in place. If something happens at a football game, a basketball game, or even a track event, something is in place for our coaches to abide by. Well, the way we handle it with a disoriented player is we immediately bring that player to our certified trainer. And if there's a doctor who happens to be on the sideline, they will be there. But that trainer is our point of contact, and that trainer examines that player, goes through their protocol, and we follow whatever that trainer tells us we need to do. As a coach, we never go outside of those bounds. Well, if it's 4th and 1, my best player, and he has a concussion, we're going to have to call on the next man up and make sure they're prepared and ready to go. No, it isn't. The well-being of our student athletes, and we share that with our coaches, that we try to keep the main thing, and that's our student athlete. It's the game, winning and losing the game, that will come and go, but we try to make sure we're doing the things to take care of our student athletes. So if it's our best player and he has to sit or play or the rest of a game, he or she has to do that. Their safety and their health is the most important thing to us. No, that's pretty much it for us, Ron, what we do. But every year at we have quarterly meetings that we have with our coaching staff. And as athletic director, I'm always encouraging them to, hey, continue to hone your craft, stay on top of what's going on as far as your particular sport's concerned, but not just what's going on with your sport, but what you can do to ensure the safety of the student athletes that you've been charged with. Well, at Montgomery Academy, I'm proud to say that we have our helmets recertified annually. As soon as our season is over, within 2 weeks, we're calling the company, hey, we're ready, come and pick up our helmets. What they're looking at now, which I wasn't aware of until 2 years ago, helmets have a shelf life. And just last year, we had to discard about 30 helmets and purchase new helmets. So that's something we take seriously every year, is certified, making sure our helmets and our equipment is up to par for our student athletes. And we share with our parents also, this is what we're doing with our equipment. So they'll know that what we're putting their student athletes and their children in are up to par and the best that we can provide for them. Exactly, and we're fortunate enough to have a company that looks at that for us. And if the shelf life of that particular helmet, if it's expired, we don't recertify that helmet. So we're only recertifying those helmets that are within that limit and that time frame. And again, if we don't have those, we're purchasing new helmets. And a part of that, and I hope people understand that we're getting new face masks, the helmets are being cleaned, the whole 9 yards. So in some ways, you're basically getting a new helmet back when they recertify them. We know that we can't put a price on the safety of our kids, so whatever the cost of doing that, we do it annually. And I'm hoping everyone that we play is doing the same thing. I think during that session, I think I'm sitting on the edge of my seat more so than when I'm in listening to one of the clinicians about the X's and O's of the game. I think that part of it, that aspect of it, we can't go to sleep on. We have to make sure we're always on top of that. And again, I look forward to that part because every year I take note of something that I take back to our coaching staff. Again, it starts with our first meeting of the year in August when we have all of our coaches there. That's one of the few times I really have a captive audience with all of them. And we just lay it all out there to make sure that we're on top of that and just reminding them of the things that I bring back from this conference every year. I bring something back every year that I present at my annual meeting, that first meeting in August with our coaches. So I think one of the most important things is just having a group that understands it. But as the leader of the group, per se, I have to ensure that I'm giving them the tools and making sure that they're hearing that message that I'm receiving from the AHSAA every year about the importance of safety.
That's right. Well, the techniques we teach now are, we emphasize using our hands a lot more. Of course, using your face mask rather than the top of your head for contact, using your face, but initiating contact more with your hands. So it's such a technique game down in the trench. I remember years ago, a lot of times people used to duck their head, do things like that, but we do a good job of coaching our kids up using the proper technique. And also, once they make that mistake of ducking their head on a tackle or anything, that's the biggest thing. Kids get hurt, they try to duck their heads on tackle. So we emphasize different things. Like this year, we teach them more of a rugby tackle with our guys, and just to get the guys more rolling them down rather than leading with your head so much. So that's kind of going to help us prevent some concussions. And hopefully, like I said, the last few years we hadn't had many because our coaching staff do a good job of coaching up the techniques. Well, the big thing, just your upper body strength, of course, and if you're strong enough and good enough with your hands, we do a lot of upper body lift. We do a lot of things that help their grip, so they feel they're confident in their ability to use their hands and not have to rely on their helmet as much. Also, we do a lot of neck exercises to strengthen that neck and to prevent either more neck or head injury. So the weight room is a valuable part of it, but if the kids feel comfortable with their abilities in the weight room, their strength, they can go out and use their hand and trust their technique. It'll help them prevent some concussions.
So a stronger kid is a safer kid.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, because he's going to trust his technique rather than a timid kid who's in the weight room may, the natural thing to do is duck your head when you see a bigger opponent coming your way or somebody that's, that's a little stronger than you. Where if you're confident in your ability, not necessarily stronger, but you're confident in your ability and your weights, and if you feel good, you can use your hands to protect yourself and use your technique and not have to get your head involved. Yeah, we a little bit of both. Like I said, we have a guy in the community that comes and speaks with our guys about the mental part of the game, just trusting their ability, but about building their confidence and trusting in their coaches and things. And also, we have a strength and conditioning coach that really does a good job of getting those guys prepared mentally, physically, so we won't have those issues on the field. Definitely, because like I say, our coaching staff, we sat down and it was a priority with us, and we emphasized it at practice. And also with the impact testing, with Marshall Smith, so we test all our guys before the season. So we do our impact testing, meaning they test the guys preseason to see where they are, and if they have any concussion-like symptoms during the season, they go back and take the same test, and if it's a difference, you'll know. And it helps us get the kid, or if it is a concussion, it helps us know, okay, it may take us or however long it takes to get back to where they were preseason, and so they get it back on the field quicker. And for example, last year we did it. We tested the kids, of course, in July, the pre-impact test. And we had a kid that we thought would have a concussion-like symptoms, so we sent him to Marshall and then test him, and his test was the same as it was in July. So it wasn't exactly a concussion, so we had to rule that out.
You had a chance to rule that out.
Rule that out. That's right. That's right. So it helps us, know our kids and helps us get the kid back faster, help us keep the kids safe if it is a concussion. And like I said, that's been very valuable to us. Well, our principal, Mr. Eldridge, we don't cut costs in helmets. You can go get they had the Virginia Tech 5-star ratings, and all our helmets are definitely on the 5-star rating or 5-star helmets. And because that's one thing, but at the same time, You know, we use Rodell, we get the best helmet we can get, but it all goes back to teaching them the proper technique. Even with a 5-star helmet, if you're using it improperly, well, we still give our kids the best helmets. Of course, we still get our helmets reconditioned every year, and but at the same time, we still emphasize that technique and coaching them the right way. Hey, I tell them that's why we're the way we are now at the age at 40 plus. But you know, but the game has changed, and I know kids. You know, I was a big kid in high school, but in these terms, I was a 6'3", 240-pound lineman. I was probably the biggest one I ever played against. But in today's term, a 6'3", 240-pound lineman is kind of small. You know, so kids are bigger, stronger. So and in return, the impact is a lot more, and there's a lot more concussions and things like that. So I tell those parents, hey, the game has changed. We got to teach them a different way. We want to keep your child safe so they can live a healthy lifestyle when they're through with football, because it ends with it for everybody.
Is the game safer?
It is safer. Like I said, with all the precautions we do, with all the technology we use, with all the proper coaches that they educate us about, I think the game is safe. And like I said, I hope parents are not afraid to let the kids play. You know, but the coaches are educated enough. We have enough programs that we have to go through to educate us so we can relay it on to our kids and keep them safe to play the sport of football. That's right, and that's important this week. You know, tomorrow we'll go and listen to some of the medical board and some things, some safety issues that we need to be aware of, from heat to sickle cell to the concussion symptoms, a lot of things that's there. And like I said, our coaches here in the state of Alabama do a good job of being educated on that thing and relaying it on to all their coaches on staff, and definitely looking out for our kids, keeping them safe. That's right, and not only is it mandatory, we have to go, but I think if it wasn't mandatory, I think a lot of our coaches would go, because at the end of the day, you know, we want to keep our kids safe. We don't, you know, I have kids and I want to keep my child safe. So I know parents entrust their kids with me, and I know definitely we want to go out there and give them all, you know, keep them safe, know everything. We're lucky enough to have a trainer on board, so and she does a great job of looking after our athletes and keeping us aware with the heat and everything like that. So yeah, I think the game is safe today, and the coaches are educated about everything to keep them safe. And like I said, I'm just excited about it. Big thing with my dad, he was an open book, meaning all the parents had an open line of communication with him. So, you know, and he, you know, when the kids had a problem, they talked to him. Parents had a problem, they talked to him. And I try to do the same thing at Oakland High, kind of be an open line of communication with that and let them know they can trust me. If they trust me, and let them know that, you know, so I'm very reachable. They can come, I'm approachable. They can come to me anytime. And I kind of learned that from my dad. And my dad had a little old school in him because he coached a little bit in the old school, but at the same time, he always had the interests of his kids first. And like I say, from the heat to the water to injuries and everything, he was always, you know, there, cared about the kids, checked on the kids, had an open communication with the parents, and that's something we try to do in Dothan High School. You know, like I said earlier, you know, football is going to end for everybody one day, and we want these kids to be able to have a healthy lifestyle and, you know, go out and raise kids and have a family, do things like that. So, you know, football is football, but at the same time, it's not, you know, if we coach them right, do it right, and be aware of everything we're doing, you know, it's a very safe